Hello friends, welcome to Apex Chess Academy. I'm Fidencio Hamilthanki and today's our theme is forcing lines first. Now what is the forcing lines normally? Normally the forcing lines means the way we are forcing the opponent to play only moves, which is known as the forcing lines. So this is basically the tendency of the player should be. We normally should start looking the moves in category of forcing lines. So there are few ways or there are few categories of the forcing move. The first category of the forcing move is check. Normally we should start looking at the moves which can give checks. Now which kind of checks? For example, I would consider the piece who is giving a check with a much closer distance. If someone is giving a check with a more distance, I would consider the check later. The check which is comes close to the opponent's king, that kind of check we should consider first. Then we should consider the checks which is basically from the distance. Then we should consider the second kind of forcing move, which is as a capture. Now if we normally captures any of opponent's piece, normally opponent should recapture, right? But this is so-called a second kind of forcing move, because if opponent has some other good move, he will go for that one. So it's in a second kind of forcing category. If you are giving check, opponent has to deal with that. So that is in a first category of forcing move. Now in the third kind of category move is threat. For example, if you are giving a threat to capture some piece, which is in a third category, because you are not capturing it, you are just putting a threat. So check, then capture, then threat. Okay, check, capture, threat. Now if any of these three moves are not possible, then only I would advise you to go for the fourth category of move, which is known as, well, it's not a forcing move, but it's all about bringing a new resource into the game. Now how you can bring a new resource into the game? Normally when you have no forcing lines, you should develop a new piece and bring a new resource, that piece, into the game, which puts a future threats. Or if there is no other way to bring a new resource, no new piece into the game, then we should think about a pawn break. If no new piece is coming into the game, if we achieve a pawn break, then new piece has some chances, because once the pawns has been exchanged, new piece has chance to come into the game. So this is the fourth category of move, which is known as bringing a new resource into the game. So remember this stuff into mind. And now let's move to this example. This example actually frankly I'm not sure where I got this example, but this is one of my favorite example, and basically I'm very sure that this was achieved from some study. The author who has basically composed the study is really good. I really thank to that author, but this is not my own creation. So okay, here you can just pause the video and try to find out the best way to continue. It's all about the forcing moves, so you should think about all the forcing lines. First you need to give checks if it is possible. If there is no check, you should think about second category of forcing move, then third category of forcing move, right? So here you first of all find out all the checks, which check is more promising, you should find out in that way, right? Okay, so let's go to the answer. If you have not found, you can still wait, pause, and try to find out the correct way. You'll really love to find out this answer, so give 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, depending on your own capability. Okay, so here this is a very unique example, and the answer is also very unique, because after every move there is a check. Does not matter it's a white move or it's a black move. That's why I like this example very much, and I really thank to the author who has composed the study. It's really suits to the our topic, forcing lines first. Okay, so here there are a few ways to give check. Let's say g4 check is possible, but this is not good because king has some chance to run, maybe king f4 or the move king g6. But then king, there is no immediate checks, because if queen g6 check, opponent may interpose or may play king h6. Okay, so there is second check, which is queen h7 check, but there is no point because queen is going to capture that queen. If queen into f6, again there is no point because king can capture that. So the last check which is possible is knight h4 check, where we are not giving anything. We are just control the squares where the king is going to run, because if king reaches to f7, king is very safe. So we have to stop to king come out of this danger zone, that is we should stop king g6 square, and at the same point we are giving check. Now king has only one square, which is king e5, but in return we are our king is in danger, so black's rook is giving check to this our king. Now again, our second knight, which is basically which was not in picture, but now it comes into the picture after knight to f3 check. And now this rook on f6 is pinned, so he cannot take it back with a rook. So now knight in2, and again this bishop is giving check. Very good. But now what? If you are capturing it, I mean you cannot capture it with knight, you cannot capture it with king. But now we have beautiful resource. Boom, d4 check. Now the point is, if you are capturing it with say king, we have the move bishop b2 mate. And if you are not able to capture with say king, you cannot capture it with bishop, because the bishop is pinned, the rook is pinned, king is not going anywhere, so it is forced to take it back with a knight. So again it's a forced move because king into his bishop b2 mate, and after say this check, now again knight f3 check, and again you see king is still in a box, so again king cannot go anywhere, rook is pinned, so knight into f3 is again forced check. Once again bishop is giving check, so all moves are coming with checks. Now d4 check. Again king into d4 is made by saying bishop b2 checkmate, and if knight into d4, again bishop into is not possible, and again this rook or f6 is giving check. But now the finally our bishop is here, and which is activated, and now bishop f4 checkmate, and there is no way to recapture. Rook is pinned, king is not going anywhere. So this is one of the beautiful study, and thanks to once again to the author who has composed this. And this is really suits our example, forcing lines first. So in first example we have seen this, all the forcing moves means all the checks which we are looking at, right? And the next level of forcing move, which I'll cover in a separate video, where I will consider all kind of forcing lines, where all level of forcing moves will be there, right? So hope you enjoyed this first part, the intro part of the forcing line. Stay tuned for my future videos as well. Thank you friends.